Nandaji, I have sent you a request on Instagram. Have you received it? And to Aisha,
I
I am
will
sending you.
immediately log in the minute you go live.
I have gone live on Insta also. So I've sent you the link of the live as well.
Educate to elevate? Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
I can see you. But where am I
Did you
really
get-
looking here, right?
Right. Yes.
By the way,
Have
your
you
voice
got
is
mine?
lagging on
One
the
second.
Instagram.
I have sent you invite
By the
as
way, your
well to
voice is
join
lagging
us.
slowly. Your voice is lagging slow on Instagram, huh?
Okay. I'll check it. I'll ask the audience also. If you can just join, Nandaji, if you could also
Yeah.
join.
Yeah, I have still to get your invite.
Okay, I'm sending it again.
Okay, I go.
Hi, Aisha's there.
Hi.
Great. All right, all three of us are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 19 of Thoughtful Thursday, presented by Educate to Elevate. Can our Insta audience hear us? Nandaji, Aisha, can you just speak one so that I can just confirm?
Hey guys.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Yeah,
Welcome to
crystal clear it
Educate
is.
to Elevate.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Nandaji, I would like you to introduce Aisha to our audience because I think who could be a better person to tell about her because you know her also personally. So, I think you would be the best person to tell about this amazing, amazing, super talented guest of ours.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Here we have today with us, guys, Fit Girl India. That's the title that's been given to her. She's an influencer, an athlete, a model. She is also an author, and she's so much more. She has been the fastest girl of India from 21 to 2003. That is 2001 to 2003. Has represented Maharashtra for 17 years. Former three times national champion, 200-meter sprint. She's authored two books, Ultimate Mind Body Fitness Guide and Run. I feel like
No,
running
that's
now
one
talking
book.
about her so much.
That's one book. That's
it-
one book. That's not two
oh,
books. It's one book. Yeah.
pardon me. It's one book which probably talks about the ultimate mind body fitness. So, and she is a one track fitness and has started the athletic club. She's the founder of One Track Fitness
Track
Athletic Club.
Club.
Yes.
That's right.
Functional movement trainer and athletic coach, certified Reebok, core Pilates trainer, yoga and Tai Chi. I mean, I can just go on. Warm welcome to Ayesha Billimoria, a girl I saw
Thank you.
back in school with her shorts running on the tracks, with my little huffy puffy son trying to catch up with her. So the association goes way back, and here I meet this young lady who's all made her name, fame. I know for sure that this hasn't been an easy path. It hasn't been easy journey, but yet she's shining in her brightness and has been spreading her light and good cheer all around. She is somebody
Thank
who
you.
has also started this fit girl movement for supporting the underprivileged children of UP, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra, especially the girls. So we are going to have an interesting conversation with this young lady who has achieved so much and more. So warm welcome, Ayesha Billimoria. This is such
Thank
a pleasure
you.
having you here.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for that very warm welcome. And I think you know me way more than these credentials. You saw me when I was, in my fifth standard,
Sure.
So it's been a really, you know me as just the girl who used to love running. And that's about it. Actually, that's where it starts and ends for me, right?
Yeah. It's so beautiful. I almost feel like a gardener, who pots something, then waits for it to blossom. And that's the way I've seen you blossoming into a beauty that you
Thank
are.
you. Thank you.
So over to you,
So,
Coach.
Aisha, thank you, Coach Nanda. So, Aisha, our first question, because as Nandaji said, the glitz and glamour is something that the ultimate thing people see, but there's a long journey behind it. So what exactly motivated you to become a sports person? And we would really love to know about how the journey unfolded.
Uh, the day I started defeating boys in races in the school, that's when I knew I was in for the long run. I knew it. I knew I was going to be at the top, because if I can beat the boys, I can beat the girls. But it was
Yeah.
actually Savio sir. Savio sir was my first coach. Savio D'Souza, all of Bombay knows him. He's very popular now with the whole distance running circuit. But back then, sir used to have this running club at PDP, Priyadarshini Park. And he came to our school as a chief guest, and he saw me running the finish of the relay. I think I was in the sixth standard at that point of time. And he said, you're really good in running. Why don't you come for athletics and just join my group? So at first, my parents were a little, because I wasn't the best at studies. So they said, no, she has to focus on her studies because she's not great at it. But sir said, don't worry about it. I think she'll do great in sports, and just get her along. So we went, and that particular year was the only year in school where I didn't win the championship or the first fastest girl title. So I was really disappointed because I hated losing. I didn't like losing. I was one of those who liked crossing the finish line first. So I took that on as a challenge, and my father took that on as a challenge, that from next year till you finish school, you're going to get this championship trophy. So that's how we started going to Savio Sir's training. And we also then, through there, Sir would put my entries into district level competitions. From there, I qualified for a state. And then, really out of the blue, one day, our principal comes to the school, as in comes to our class, and she says, you, Jairaz and Ishan, three of you have been selected to represent Maharashtra at the All India ICSE School Nationals. So, firstly, I didn't understand what was going on. That seemed a bit of like, oh, what does that even mean? So, I went and shared my news with Savio sir, and he said, oh, you're going for the nationals. That's a really big deal. So, we trained very hard. And I was in the ninth grade at that point of time. Studies were getting a bit intense. You had a lot to study at that time. And he said, no, it doesn't matter. You finish your tuitions every day after school, even if it's at 7:30, we'll train alone at PDP. So those 2 years of my life under 16 were probably the best training days of my life. I can say that, we had so much fun because we just wanted to win. That's it. And we were okay to lose, but at that point of time, Saviosa had a lot of confidence in me, and he also made me enjoy running. He was not one of those who said, you have to run a certain time, you have to defeat your opponents. There was no such pressure. It was just that have fun, finish first, do whatever you like, but just have fun while you're running. So that's something that really, hooked on to my mindset till I retired last year. Yeah, down the line, I kind of lost that enjoyment. I lost the fun because you get very caught up. When you're at a very high competitive level, it's easy to get caught up in other things. So I lost my joy, really. But ever since I've retired and I've, taken time off from athletics, I feel like I'm finding that passion back that I had as a 14, 15-year-old. So, yeah, I mean, between that and now, it's just, it's one big book that I will write. That will be my second book.
Wow.
Okay.
That's such
So
an
I just, Nandaji, I'm so sorry. So, Aisha, if you can just slightly more, reduce the volume of your phone, because there is just slight echoing which is coming, and a few of the audience were just requesting if that, because a lot of people are really eager to hear what you're saying. So, if just one notch slower you can do.
Is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually changed the speaker. I changed the speaker to the other side. So now you won't hear that.
okay. That's
Right. So over
fabulous.
to you, Nandaji.
Yeah, I was just sharing that when you hear about the journey, about how it began and how you had a coach who didn't put any pressure and just kind of say, enjoy what you want to and just go along, and have fun. That's such an amazing journey. That's such a beautiful way to begin your journey, rather. it kind of makes me curious because
Thank you.
all I ever saw was you running from one, end of the ground to the other end, and like gone in a split second, and oh, she was here, where's she now? And from so it makes me curious that were there any other sports that you were into that you really liked? Is there something else that you like to do? Any other sport rather?
No, not really. I was just focused on getting the Olympic medal for India. So I had a one-track mind. And that's all that it was. I mean, in college and for, our colonies like Parsi Bags, often they would ask me to play throw ball. So I would play throw ball because, well, I was good at sports. But I never really ventured into other sports because I knew that to be an Olympian or to be at the Olympic level, you had to be very focused.
True.
So just I think almost 15 years of my life, that focus was just there, nowhere else. I didn't shift focus from there.
Fabulous.
So, Aisha, you're saying that the focus of 15 years, it's very important, to be into Olympics or to achieve well, and we resonate with that. So here is an interesting question for you that you know is there a favorite sports song or something that you listen to prior the competing part, or which helps you into the focus or something, something like Shah Rukh Khan Chak De India or anything of that sort?
Exactly. That's the one. That's where we're getting at. That is the one. I actually love Chak De. I was supposed to give an audition for that film. And my coach sat me down and he said, where do you think you'll get more respect? You think you'll get it in the movies or you'll get it in sports? That was all he said. And that was one decision, probably the best decision of my life, that I chose to not get into acting or Bollywood or any such thing. But yeah, then when the movie came out and I was like, oh, but no regrets because that movie was fabulous and the music of that movie was fabulous. Definitely very inspiring. I've had it on my playlist for a long, long time since the movie came out. But so many songs that I can think of. There's Flashdance, there is Rocky. I also just really enjoy a lot of classical music before running because more than the hype and the pump of it, I like my nerves to be really calm before running. Like I don't like
Interesting.
that tick, 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 tick in my head. My head's anyway throbbing with excitement and nervousness, so you don't want to add on to it. You want something that will just put you down and stay easy.
Hmm. Quite interesting.
Yes, I know, and I can imagine that when you're standing there waiting for the gunshot to go, the kind of the palpitations and the adrenaline rush that's happening at that moment.
Yeah. That feeling is something to live for, really. I
Yeah,
mean, if it's not that, what is it, right?
absolutely.
True.
So I'd like to know your thoughts on how would you compare solo sports with team sports, yeah, what are your thoughts on
How
that?
they build your character. I think they build your
Yeah.
character very differently. It brings out your personality very differently. Um, in individual sports or sports that are, that don't have too much teamwork around them, uh, can also make you very selfish. They can also make you very self-centered. They can make you very lonely. There are various factors that have there are advantages and disadvantages of a individual sport versus a team sport. And for me, that has been a very big learning in the last few years because it's only when I stepped away from track and started moving more into kind of society, started training people, friends, family, loved ones, is when I started realizing that, oh, now it's not just about you and your sport. Because my whole life was just about me and my sport, right? It was so centered around that one thing that I also compromised a huge part of my family life in all those years. And my parents were cool with it because they themselves wanted to see me at the Olympics. So they knew that I always put my sport before them. And they were fine with it because they themselves were so invested in the game. But it's not the same when you step away from the sport. So your life is not just about you. It is about your partner, about your family, your siblings, children, your friends. So it's kind of a great evolution from coming out from an individual sport, which also really I think builds your personality in a way, depending on how you travel, the kind of people or athletes or coaches you meet with, the countries you run in or the states you run in. I think these things just help build your personality over time. And for me, I think I've been very fortunate and blessed that I had that opportunity. When I was also single for a big part of my life because I never wanted to have that commitment of, a man
Yes.
or even friends. I barely had friends in my 20s. I mean, I was just like, I was traveling from one country to another trying to figure out which coach will help me. So I was very coach centric. I was not very like relationship centric. So even with my family and sibling, I think my relationships were not the best. Um, but I think all the training and knowledge and everything that I acquired through the travel kind of now comes together. And now I'm learning about more teamwork. Now I'm learning to be less self-centered. Now I'm learning to be less aggressive, because also sport makes you a little aggressive, right? It makes you
True, true,
uh,
true.
you want to fight to the finish kind of attitude you have all the time. So, but you don't need that in real life all the time. So it's a nice journey to evolve, where I think team sports really mold you more and more into being a team person. I don't know much about team sports. I've never been in that space, so I'm not the best person to speak about it. But I've seen that people in team sports are often more gentler with people around them. They care more about people around them. So I feel like because they get that whole unity thing, when they're playing together, they look out for each other, they're there for each other. So I think, yeah, it's got it weighs out both.
Again,
Absolutely.
such an amazing sharing, because this question came to mind as you were sharing about Chak Day, and it was like there was this one thing, like you said, Chak Day was quite an inspiration for you, and you were to be part,
Yeah,
auditioning for that. There was the whole entire team spirit there, and here you are someone who has led a solo self kind of
yeah, yeah.
life that has made you who you have become. Such an interesting share. Before we go further,
Thank you.
once more, I'd like to request if we can kind of, put the volume of the phone off, because I think the audience is still complaining that our voices are repeating. So if you could
Are
just
they?
manage that, yeah.
I've just put my voice off on.
Okay, great.
So I don't
Okay,
think my
okay, that's
audience on
good.
Instagram can now hear it though.
No,
No,
no, I can. I'm checking it.
we can hear you.
Oh,
Hmm.
somebody
Okay.
asked an interesting
Somebody's
question. Who was
asking,
there in Chak Day?
yeah,
Shah Rukh Khan was in
she
Chak Day,
was,
guys. Come on, that's obvious.
he's
That's
asking,
all that
she was
matters,
there in
really.
Chak there.
No, I wasn't there, but Shah Rukh Khan was there, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. SRK fan. So,
So,
Thanks, Mayam.
I want to say this, Aisha.
just wanted to share this, that
Yeah.
here is one of those sharings that she just said, even though we just laughed it out, is that there was an option of being in the film as against choosing the career of her, her sports career. And she chose the
True.
sports career. So, guys, let's cheer her for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
over to you, coach.
yes, thank you, Coach Nanda. This question was basically because sports is all, it's not only sports. Sports really, when at the early ages of our lives, when we are involved in any kind of sports, it is not only about being fit or actually taking it professionally. It, as you said, it's about character building. So be it a team one or solo one, and I really appreciate your, honesty here, Aisha, because you told all the pros, I mean, the cons of solo sports as well, being in solo sports. But I do feel, I really want to ask you still, how being an athlete has helped you become a better or a good person.
I think it was the coaches who evolved my personality. They helped me evolve into being this person. I owe it a lot to my coach in Australia. I say this to my parents also. I think I owe my entire life more to him than to anyone, because the patience with which he helped me unlearn and to relearn and to just make me understand that champions are not just built on the field or on the court, they're actually built outside. And when you get that, you get it, right? So, um, I mean, of course, my parents gave me great values, great sporting values, right? We learned about respect, we learned about acknowledging failures, we learned about excellence in sport, we learned about all of those, friendship, all these. We were great friends with all our competitors. There was no animosity, there was no jealousy. We enjoyed sport because that's what sports is about. It's about having fun. It's about making it a lifestyle. That's really important for people to hear, because people think that, oh, I do fitness, I have to go to a fitness class, or I have to do yoga. It doesn't have to be effort. Sport or any form of physical activity has to be a part of your lifestyle, just like how you brush your teeth and go to the toilet every morning. That's what sports is about, right? So, and I'm not saying everyone has to be an Olympian, state level, national level, district level. No, you just got to keep moving well for the betterment of your life, your health, your mental health, right? We're leading really stressful lives. And sports is such a beautiful thing to have as a part of your life, right? It unites you with other people. It teaches you so much about yourself. Sport is the best thing that happened to mankind, I think. Then technology and la 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 la. But I think sports is the best thing. I mean, it's a different rush.
Absolutely. And, as coaches, we encourage people into a lot of outdoor, and we love, when people go out, it's a
Yeah,
great way to vent when you are, following some sport, when you take up some sport.
yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
You just spoke about, the mental pressure that happens when you're in competing sports. So it kind of makes me curious, how do you cope with the mental pressure that happens when you're on the field? And you said you are someone who doesn't like to lose and you want to be there first. So how do you cope with all of this pressure? What is it that you do to build yourself to face this?
I don't think anyone ever put pressure on me besides me myself. I think a big part of my career going downhill was the amount of pressure I put on my own self, the ambitious goals that I had. They were not easy. You can't. Gavin always said, it also takes a lot of courage to say that you want to be an Olympian or you want to represent India. But with that comes a great amount of responsibility, and also comes the three Ds, which are your discipline, dedication, and determination. um,
Very.
and it's those are the three Ds I lived with my whole life. Even today I live with that, because sports and life is the same thing. What you do in sports, you do in life, and vice versa. So Gavin always said that, if you're gonna be so ambitious about your goal, you have to work really hard for it. I was willing to work hard. I worked hard, I didn't work smart. That was the sad part about my career, was that I didn't work smartly. I just thought that working hard was the way to get ahead. So I learned the hard way then. Eventually, I had a slip disc. I was bedridden. I had to stop running, So they were all lessons that kind of taught me how to slow down.
Over and above everything, I think this vulnerability with which you're sharing, it's not important to keep up the facade that, oh, I am fit girl and I am this and I'm that and I'm 3 times national
No, I
champion.
think I think I'm also a very unfit girl, by the way. Just putting it out there, guys. I'm very unfit girl at the moment, so uh, there's no mask here. I'm very vulnerable with my emotions, because what is there to hide, right? Who are you
True.
fooling? This is a very important thing Gavin said to me when we were training. Because after I ran this race, and I ran that race really well, he said, no matter how much you try to fool the world on your social media, you'll say that, oh, wow, I'm so confident, I'm going to make it. But deep down inside, only you know that you can fool yourself.
Yeah.
You can't fool other people, but you can fool yourself. So be honest with yourself. If you're vulnerable, you're vulnerable. If you're emotional, you're emotional. If you don't understand something, you don't understand something. If you're loving, you're loving. If you're caring, you're caring. It's all out there in the open. There's no curtain between you and the person or thing that's in front of you. It's the same with sports. Why do people cry after they finish a race, if they win or lose, right? Because there's no mask there to hide it, right? You'll never
True.
find a super egoistic athlete, at least in track and field. athletes in athletics are so emotional. It's amazing. I love it.
And I think it's this
Yes,
authenticity that makes people, like who they become. You know,
Yeah,
you cannot
right.
fool yourself and be who you are. You become
That's
who
right.
you are because you are every moment aware of what else do I have to overcome, what else it is that I need to do, to get there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful sharing. Yes, coach, sorry,
Thank
you
you.
were asking something.
no, I was just saying this thing only that, as emotional fitness coaches, we also propagate this idea that, it's okay to have the emotions. We always have a negative connection when we call somebody emotional. So we think the person is who always cries, but happiness is also an emotion, no? So if we are
Yeah,
exuberant, so we are also then also we are emotional, right? What's
that's
there to be
right.
negative about it? No?
Yeah.
And then
But
you so
negative is
beautifully
also
explained.
negative
Yeah,
is also an emotion, by the way. Negative
absolutely.
Absolutely.
itself has so many emotions in itself. So it's not that people are born negative or born positive. It's how life treats them, or
Yes.
how life makes or molds them, right? That's how your incidents or
And
your life history or anything makes you into a negative or a positive person.
and in fact, negative emotions are more important because they are the ones who give you that message to make you understand that you need to shift something
Yeah,
inside you. So the
absolutely.
happy
Yeah,
emotions will never
absolutely.
make you feel that. So that alarm call to
Right.
action comes from the negative emotions.
Yeah. Nobody is
Aisha,
always happy.
hmm,
Nobody is
yes,
always happy.
absolutely.
Agree.
Yeah.
Actually, since this interview started, I've been observing, and this is such a modest thing from your side that you are giving a lot of kudos to your coaches and the people
Yeah.
who have trained you and hand holded you throughout your journey, and you have been quoting such nice words of wisdom that they shared with you. So I would like to know from you that uh, what role does a coach play in the life of a sports person, and also as we are life coaches, so what's your thought on that, having a coach for a life and also having a coach for the sports, how much important is that?
I think a coach who can be a good mentor will be a good coach. Most people don't get mentoring, they just get coaching, because also lots of people can read books and become coaches. But mentoring comes with life experience. And people can also be very wise and talk about life through their experience. The same goes for coaches. There are coaches who are just book read, who are certified, especially I'm talking in sports, but they really don't know how to deal with athletes. They don't know how to nurture them. They don't know how to build them. I sadly actually didn't have coaches who handheld me. I actually had coaches who whipped me. So I loved it. I'm a hard taskmaster myself. So I loved when Gavin, especially, I mean, I love him to death. He's the reason why I'm here today as Fit Girl. Gavin was never easy on me. There were days when I cried after training. There was always a message in that crying. There was always a message in the failure. That's what life is about. That's why he made me realize that sports and life is the same. There's no difference in it. So I got very fortunate to have Savio sir, Gavin, yes. There were a few hits and misses. They were really bad. In fact, I think a big part of my downfall also started through some really bad coaches as a late teenager. But then I met Gavin, and I think that really lifted my spirits up again. And then I was almost unbreakable. Then I was like, whoever comes my way, this wall is going to be so strong that even if you tell me that I'll never be able to run again, I'll still tell you that I'm going to run. That's the mindset he had built for me, with me, inside me, all of it. And then I met a really nice coach in America, Andrew, who also was very good coach, just very positive. I was 33 when I went to him. He knew I was not going to make it to the Olympics, but he was just so amazingly positive. He said, how do you know where the future lies? Maybe you won't get to the Olympics in the next two Olympics, but think of it, maybe you'll be an Olympian in your 40s. And I was like, high hopes, but why not? you know, life is unpredictable. You never know where life can take you. And
Absolutely.
that's what I loved about Andrew, was just that, enjoy your running. He brought that enjoyment back in my life. He never let me run with a watch. He just said, have fun, go out there, do what you love. Remember where you started from. That was the most important thing. He said, I'll never forget. Remember where you started from. I said, I started from just having fun and winning. He said, you seem to have one in life, because he had seen my Instagram, he had read about me. He said, you seem to have one in life. Now, how does it matter if you win a race or not? You love running, and that's what needs to keep driving you ahead. So, yes, every coach has given some really good, of course, Gavin's the leader of them all, but Savioso was amazing. I think I owe my career to Savioso. If it wasn't for him, and I think I owe my career to Mrs. Bugley also,
Yes,
because if it wasn't for her to bring Savioso to the school, I don't think we would have met and created this wonderful journey.
absolutely, absolutely. And for a principal to be supportive of not just
Oh, she was extremely
yeah,
supportive, that.
yeah,
For sports, she was really, I mean, yeah, she was another hard taskmaster, but I think she really encouraged me in sports. I very thankful to my school, my college. St. Xavier's was very supportive. We got a lot of good support when I was young. I mean, the journey was not easy. People think that, okay, you were a kid who wore Nike shoes and Nike sports bra and fancy shorts. We were not fine. We were privileged to be comfortable. We were not well off or rich. We struggled through traveling in trains, sitting by the toilet, going for 2 days to Patiala. I mean, those struggles were really fun. I miss those days. Now it's just a different story. You think of, oh, I don't want to sit in a train. But those days it was just about how do we get from A to B and B to C. you know so those were really good days. I mean, I think our struggles make us stronger. I mean, struggles weren't just financial. Struggles were in so many. There was so much racism towards me. There were so many other bad coaches who tried to pull me down, coaches who tried to end my career. Your privileges don't matter at that point of time when you know that somebody's trying to crush your
spirit.
joy of what your joy of effort. Yeah, your spirit, your joy of effort was trying to, just be shut down. So I always say money can't buy you everything. Money can't buy you health, money can't buy you happiness, money can't buy you a medal. You have to earn all those things.
So while we were researching your, career and the entire aspect, I came across this line from you that said, you know, they may say I'll never run again. They may say I'm physically broken, but they don't know how strong my mind is.
That's
And
right.
that line really, really, touched a chord in me. And I said, I'm going to ask you about it. And I know most of it you've already shared. So, was there something particular that happened, or you were supposed to have, you supposedly were in an accident, and you made it from there to here. And if I get the dates right, it was in 2000 when you went through
Seven,
this.
seven,
Mm.
2007.
2007. Okay, okay. And yet
Yeah,
you bounced
when I
back.
was in senior college.
Oh,
Well, I bounced back because that's all I know to do. I don't know any other way. Life has a great way of, healing things. Your body is a great, it's a gift that we've been given, which heals very well by itself. You know, Western medicine is not going to heal you as much as your own body and mind will, unless
yes.
until it's really severe. But I think the body heals in its own way. Um, I I don't like to really talk much about my past experiences with injuries, primarily because it has taken me so long to overcome those traumas. And they were really deep rooted traumas. So around those years, I think the trauma set in so deeply into my subconscious, but consciously I said I have to do it, I have to do it. There was just that goal was so crazy, Olympics. um, but because the subconscious trauma was so deep, I had to do everything with fear. Little bit fear here, little bit fear here, little bit fear of the starts, fear of the finish line, fear of winning, fear of losing. Um, and then through that also injuries kept coming and going. And with that accident, actually, it was the bigger cause of most injuries till date. So that's what now almost I'm talking 16 years since that accident. Um, it definitely impacted my whole life, you know. Um, but I just don't know. I think I set the goal really high. Also, I don't give up. I don't see the point of giving up when every single human being is capable of achieving something if they put their mind to it. That's just how strong the human mind is. We think the body is really strong, but the mind is that into 10 or
10x.
that into 100. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so what? If you tried and succeed, tried and failed, who cares? I didn't, after a point when I started losing a lot, I actually didn't even care about winning or losing. I was just aimlessly aiming for the Olympics. Though I had many mistakes through my career. I made a lot of mistakes. Like I said, I had some bad coaches who also tried to break me down. But I very quickly got away from them. But through those days and weeks or months of training with them, they scarred me constantly. You constantly go into a training session to be told that, oh, look at you running, you're running so badly. Oh, it's your form, it's so bad. Zero words of encouragement means you're pulling that athlete down, or any human for that matter. And imagine how many children like that have been scarred, not just in sport, but in life. And
True.
then we're trying to build a sporting culture in this country. That is impossible. We need to start from grassroots level to build this mentality that it's okay to fail or win, fail,
Yes.
lose, whatever. I don't like these words. Firstly, they mean nothing to me. So, it's just we need to culturally start building that. That's how we're gonna become a sporting nature. We're not gonna become a sporting nature by getting two Olympic medals so
We
yeah.
just shared a while ago that nobody can always be happy. So, in the same breath, it's
Mm.
also like nobody can always win. The winning and losing, or whatever
Yeah,
it is
of
a
course.
part of, there's sides of the same coin. It's life.
Life,
It happens.
coin.
There are lessons which propel you to, then go towards success. So it's absolutely like the whole point of this question was, my apologies, we didn't mean to touch upon your, the vulnerable
No,
aspect,
no, no, it's fine. Everyone does.
but
No,
this
no.
was
The
more
thing is that
to
everybody,
this is more about, yeah, this is
that
more about
incident.
letting people know that
No, after you.
it's not just all the glamour and all the titles that come with it. There is a
Yeah,
whole lot of
yeah,
dirt and grit that a person has gone through to stand tall and become who he or she is. So that was where we were
yeah,
coming
yeah.
from. Yeah,
No,
sorry.
no, 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 no. I get this question a lot. I'm very cool with it. What happens is that over these last 4 5 years, especially, people ask this question so often because also it was such a big life-changing moment for my career and my
Absolutely.
life, of course.
Yes.
So, and it's pretty much out there on the internet. At some point, every newspaper, every article was touching upon that particular topic. What I realized was it was not allowing me to heal from the trauma. Because
Hmm.
each time, that's how the mind is, right? Each time you push a memory back 20 years, you'll still keep reliving it in your the more you speak of it in your speech, in your thoughts. It's like, oh, that pain is back there because I had that. You see how the mind works. The mind works very weirdly. So I started experiencing that, and that's when I told myself, oh, I have to stop talking about it. Because earlier I loved talking about it. I was like, oh, yes, I had this accident, I had a partial
Hmm.
paralysis, blah, blah, blah. And I used to enjoy talking about it till I realized that it's not getting you to move on to the next chapter of your life. And it's, of course, it's an important thing to speak about because I feel like I've barely had, I mean, I've had failures, I've had these instances, but I know people who've had worse, and they've come out victorious. So I think my story is just really tiny in all of that.
Tiny
Aisha,
stories.
yeah,
Yeah, tiny stories can be great inspiration.
Thank you.
absolutely. Aisha, you were telling about, the bad things that happened, and then also in terms of the struggle that, you have had certain times some bad coaches as well who tried to pull you down, and these were some of the mistakes that you made in your career. But now you yourself also, how you have this feather on your cap that you are an athletic coach. You are helping people. And I
Right.
read this line in your bio, which I found, which both of us found very interesting, that, helping people understand the biomechanics of running. Could you share something more about, like, what are the biomechanics of learning?
That was not the most important thing in my bio. The most important thing in
Oh,
my bio was we want to create thinking athletes and not following athletes.
wow.
The meaning of that is that if you see India as a community, we're always following the herd, right?
True.
Absolutely.
मैं 10 किलोमीटर भाग रही हूँ, आप भी 10 किलोमीटर भाग सकते हो, लेकिन मेरी कैपेसिटी या कैपेबिलिटी नहीं है कि मैं अभी 10 किलोमीटर भागूं, लेकिन मैं भागूंगा या भागूंगी, right? That's a herd mentality. What we want to do with children is change the mindset that they can be their own individuals, right? Every person has their own individuality. That's what they should be respected for. That is for me the biggest takeaway as a coach, or my biggest giving to coaching. Biomechanics is one part of the skill which is really different from what other people teach, but to create athletes or just for general human development, we need to create minds that will think for themselves, not be
Yes.
reliant or dependent on their families, partners, coaches, teachers. That's something that is my mission, really, to build across rural India, because I have a very soft corner for rural India. Uh, Children there are very smart. They're very independent. They need to be given the seed, what, just this much. You're capable of it. No matter what obstacle comes in your way, you're capable of it. That is all it takes to change the mindset of a child. That's it. That's all we need to do. फिर जो हमारा strength है, biomechanics है, the minute children get this understanding that, yeah, I'm capable of running fast, now I'm going to put my mind to this skill. This skill could be anything. It can be football, badminton, TT, swimming, shooting, athletics. But the start of this entire shift that we need to make in this country is to create minds that will think for themselves. Not rely on Google, not rely on. Sure, there are enough streams today along with books that educate you. But we don't need to rely on anything. We have a very powerful mind. Just how you train it is important, and how you teach people to train it, because not everyone is smart. Like, I'm not the smartest person in the room, that's the truth, right? I failed every class in school. Mrs. Bagli ne dhakka maar ke, she promoted me till the 10th standard. Okay. So I was probably the dumbest kid in school, which I have no problem to share, mainly because I dislike studying. The whole education system, for how it taught me, was not for me. Then all these coaches who came into my life taught me how to think, that, if you were in a situation here, how do you add mathematics to it, right? Think of your history, historically and culturally, where do you come from? That for me was a build up as a student, as an athlete. That's the kind of education I like. So we've got to start seeing of how we um, build children, not just in academics, but also in sports. Of course, academics is really important for our country, but why not keep that platform also open for children? Through that platform, through that medium, teach children how to think for themselves, you know?
This
That
is so
really,
amazing.
yeah, it is indeed, because I think that is where we really lack, that we are not creating, a generation, a future that has the ability to think for themselves and do what they want to. We are creating
That's
followers,
right.
and followers
Yeah,
cannot last
yeah.
forever. So it's such a,
No, they can't. But that's why today the whole influx of technology has it's diminishing the minds of people, if you notice.
True.
While there's a lot of information out there, while it's a great tool to communicate with people, if you observe, sitting on a screen for 1 hour can suck the life out of you. Imagine how productive you can be if you took some time away from that screen. So, children are unable to think enough or more because there is so much attention in this, my phone, my laptop, my iPad. Oh, I've got 5 things around me, but I've forgotten what's going on here, right? So it's again, technology has its pros and cons, but I see the bigger cons of technology, where we're not letting children read more books, we're not letting children be more outdoors, we're not letting children think more. We're always saying Google it up, you look at YouTube, whatever happened to creativity? I mean, India is so
Yes.
incredibly talented and creative. I mean, our country is amazing. India is an amazing place, to live in, to interact with the people here. We are so progressive in our mindset. It's just that the system doesn't allow to progress, But India as a country, while sure there's a lot of backwardness in many aspects on areas of life, but for the more and more part that I'm going into rural India, it's sad to see that the people who genuinely want to progress are not given that freedom to do it. So
Hmm.
yeah, we have a lot of work to do there.
And no
So
dearth
yes,
of talent over here, I would say, in every
absolutely,
field.
absolutely. I
Hmm.
mean,
India is
yeah,
literally a
yeah. You
fountainhead of
come,
talent.
absolutely, and look how much talent is suppressed. That's the other
Yes.
sad part about our country. Look how much it is suppressed because of the corrupt system.
Yeah, sports as an
Absolutely.
overall has never been encouraged. It's only particular sports which are given importance, and so many others. Yeah,
We're not a sporting nation, we're a cricket nation. Yeah,
I know so much and more that goes into
Yeah.
it. But as we are
And
heading to, sorry,
yeah,
yeah,
please.
and that's why we started when we were deciding the theme of Thoughtful Thursday season 2. This was one thing that we thought that we are going to take up unconventional professions as our theme, because we really want to propagate this idea to especially the parents and also the kids, the young leaders, that you can pursue your passion and you can actually make it your career. And you are one big example of
absolutely.
that, because
Your career, yes,
sports itself is a tough career field, and then a women in the sports field, these are two difficult things, all together the combination itself is tough. And this point that
yeah.
you
But
said
but
about
women are really
technology. Yeah.
breaking these barriers now.
Yes, they are indeed. And
Women are breaking these barriers. Yes,
True.
I hope in the future that more women are going to break that barriers, because your first line when you started this interview, that when I started defeating boys, I knew it. I think all the women who are going to watch this episode are going to be really inspired with that, and they're going to take that step towards making their career in sports. So since we are in that lighter mode, we would like to ask
thank
you, and you
you,
have been
thank
so
you.
vulnerable and authentic, Aisha, do you have any secret talent which the world does not know, and you would like to reveal it today on Thoughtful Thursday?
I wish, I wish. No, I wish I had a secret talent. I'm actually not at all talented. My only
No.
talent lies on the track. My only talent lies in running. I'm exceptionally talented in running. I love it. I don't think I want to do anything else in life. I came with one purpose. I want to die with that purpose.
So
That's it.
amazing. It's so
I love it.
inspiring to see your focus. Not everybody, is so clear and so focused about what this is it, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to die doing. Hats off to that.
Yeah, I know that's really
Thank
really
you.
beautiful. And having seen Aisha blossom, I don't think I ever saw her apologetic for not having certain talents and have being so good at her sports. She loved her running, and that was it. You put her on the field, and you could only be proud of her. It's one more thing to say that we don't expect fishes to climb trees and monkeys to live in the water. So the more we kind of encourage
Yeah.
this kind of individual talents, we'll only see all our young people blossoming and becoming who they become and making us and the nation proud. So Asha, as we are inching
Yeah.
towards the closing hours, I was wondering if there is any tips you'd like to give those young runners who would like to take on this as a profession? Of course, yes, first is make Aisha your coach, because she is going to be a taskmaster to train you. But over and
And learn
above that,
biomechanics from me before you go and teach running to someone, because people are teaching such bad running to people. It's appalling to see. Across India, I've traveled to see how badly people run. As coaches, as running coaches, as sport coaches, I think it's so important to have the right knowledge on skill. Educate yourself, read, um, train under good coaches who will guide you the right way, you know. And of course, have fun. Have fun, most important. I'll never forget these lines from Savio. So I think all my coaches really, the good coaches really told me and taught me how to have fun with my running. That trickles in your life as well, right? Because at the end, we're so many people are just kind of stuck up with things, and I wonder to myself why. It's not even a big deal. Like, fine, you make mistakes, you have fun, you grow, you learn, all of that. So yeah,
just
that's that.
yesterday I was reading about this very world renowned coach from one of these very well known online universities, Mind Valley, where he was talking about, I mean, you want to say that you want to achieve this, you want to achieve that, and you want to achieve that. Are those achievements what is going to be the ultimate, or it's, going, being happy is what is going to be the real thing? While it's important that yes, you have your goals and you set out to reach where you want to, but this line that your coaches have been telling you, make sure it makes you happy even as you get there. And I think that
Yeah,
is the biggest takeaway.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Anything you want to add, coach?
So no, I just want to say thank you so much, Aisha, because it had been a beautiful 1 hour. So much
Thank you,
inspiring, so much learning that has happened, and I'm
thank you.
sure a lot of people who have been watching live and who will watch it later all also will be inspired. And we would just like to know in one line how had been your experience being on Thoughtful Thursday.
I loved it. I saw Amit's mom after so long, you know. I only keep in touch with the boys on WhatsApp or on Facebook or Instagram, but reconnecting with her after so long has just been, it's been a great. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm here with Amit in the US in San Francisco, and I know
Ah,
this
okay.
happens to be one of your favorite travel destinations.
Yes, I love SF.
Okay.
Also,
So
we have such fond
yeah.
memories of her living in the same building that Lata Mangeshkar used to live in. So, yeah, it's just so nice. Such old memories.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you so much. Wonderful having caught up with you and having seen you
Thank
blossom
you.
into such a beautiful young lady, and yet
Thank you.
being so soft and pure at your heart and soul level. So, thank you very much for
Thank
inspiring
you.
our audience today. God bless.
Thanks so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, everyone. See you next
Thank you.
Thursday. Bye bye.